right?
Yeah.
And I think people were turned off from it, but he made a statement
Hmm.
that he backed up. And he said, I've read and forgotten more books about African American literature than you ever
Yeah.
will.
Yeah.
And I was offended and challenged, right? The same
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And so I'll never forget, Mr. Schiavo said that if you write and get any scholarship through any essay writing, you'll get an automatic A in my class and not have to take the final. And so
Mm.
I was like, well, that's going to be me.
Yeah.
And because of his inspiration, I applied for and won the Dr. Martin Luther King essay contest in my 12th
Mm.
grade year. I got my first scholarship for college and I got
Yeah.
an A in his class and didn't have to take the final.
Oh
So
my God, that's awesome. I
Mr.
love that.
Schiavo continues to inspire, and he was legit. He could deal with us,
Hmm.
but he cared about us,
Yeah.
and um, it it made me approach college in a way because I had come from a core of people that cared about us.
Yeah.
That Miss Tarana who cared about us, Miss
Yeah.
Wannen who cared about us, and to this day who speak kindly
Yes.
to
Yeah.
us. Elementary school teachers who still reach out and say, you're so proud. Miss Z was
Mm.
my second grade teacher, and
Oh,
she used to
really?
call me Sunshine.
Welcome to the Art and Hustle Podcast, a gallery of conversations, a space where you can hear all the amazing stories and life lessons of my guests. I'm your host, LindaLCheung, fashion designer turned multimedia artist, and I want to give you a space to tell your story.
Tricia Bookhart, yes.
Bookhart. Oh my God. Well, congratulations.
Thank you. It's a Central Islip reunion. Married CI.
Really? Was he in our class or?
He was actually graduated the class after us,
Mhm.
but we did meet in high school. He
Mhm.
was my senior prom date,
Oh
the
my
love of my
God.
life. So 28 years later, we
my God.
rekindled, and I am now Mrs. J. Bookhart.
Oh my God. Well, congratulations. I love this kind of story. You're going to have to tell us a little bit about this. So were you always connected and had that love back in high school?
Absolutely. I think in high school, we knew, however, we didn't have the tools necessary to execute the plan. And so I appreciate that we had enough love for each other to know that we would have created a misstep.
Yeah.
We would have probably harmed each other because we weren't mature in the areas we needed to be in. And so love, true love, kept us apart. We both pursued different avenues of intended success, and both got married, both had kids, and yet it wasn't where we were supposed to be. And
Oh.
so when both of those arenas came to an end and didn't work, we happened to cross each other again right after COVID. And I think COVID is incredible because it gave us all a new perspective, new resilience.
Yeah, yeah.
And we call it rekindling. Within a week of rekindling, we knew. So we rekindled in November. By September, he proposed, and we were just married December the 18th.
Of last year or 2020?
2021.
2021. Oh my God. So last year,
Yes.
2021. Okay. Oh my God. Well,
Yes.
congratulations. I know I saw the new photo. I'm like, wait, what happened? What did I miss?
You didn't miss anything. You're right at the right spot. We're all together now. So yeah, it's
Oh,
incredible.
wow. Oh my God. So we went to Central Islip High Schools for all those who are listening and don't know. Yeah,
Yes.
we survived that. And Tricia was one of those amazing talents that came out of CI who was like top notch of her class, super smart. And I had the pleasure to be, in your court of all the things that we used to do in the high school, right?
That's right. And so is Linda. So, it takes one to know one. So we were all successful I think way beyond our years that has prepared us and propelled us to where we are right now. So yes, I'm a proud CI, am proud.
Exactly. CI pride. So I'd like to take it back to a little bit of like, how was your childhood, how you grew up, what your thoughts about your experience with CI, and then take it to, college and where you are and how you got to where you are now to be so successful.
Thank you so much for that. CI did it. I was born and raised in Central Islip. It's the only other place that I've lived besides where I reside right now, which is in Las Vegas. And I feel so privileged. Central Islip was a beautiful melting pot. I would say most of us were mid-income families. We weren't rich by any means. Now I look back and see what my parents were able to do with myself and my two other siblings, my brothers. Shout outs to my brother Jared and Dwayne. And it's actually amazing. I'll tell you in a minute why it's amazing to be having this conversation today. But, my parents just did everything they needed to do to make us comfortable. And that's how I described growing up. We were comfortable. There was every type of person, type of background, type of race, and we were raised to be respectful and inclusive. And I would say that that absolutely has made me successful because I've looked for that. I've looked to recreate that in every instance and that's what we knew, that's who we had become. And I'm just so privileged to have experienced that life. Every type of food, every type of music, every type of friend, every type of background. And so there was no circumstance that I was ever exposed to after graduation that made me take it back because I had that. So very tight-knit family, very close friends. To this day, 20 plus years of friendship, which I think is a testament to what we were able to build.
Yes.
So much so that I loved Central Islip. I never left. I went to college in Central Islip. I went from CI High to New York Tech. And that was where I first graduated from. And I stayed there in pursuit of my master's until I relocated. So Central Islip is a home run community. We are a home run. We are incredible. We were small but mighty. And just being a New Yorker is a privilege. If you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. And that's why I've made it. And I just consider myself so extremely blessed, beyond lucky, just blessed. No place like it in the world. And it made me confident. It made me exposed. It made me appreciative. And it made me whole. It really did. It made me a whole person, whole in the thought processes, whole in the experiences, whole in the appreciation and gratitude. So I left Central Islip High School by gaining a scholarship to attend college and worked locally and pursued and went after it. I ended up relocating to Las Vegas with my job that I did get working in Hauppauge, right around the corner in the hamlet of Hauppauge, and relocated to Las Vegas in human resources. And just appreciate CI from my start. I was always in student government, so always feeling like I had to represent people. I went on to be president of the school in college, still representing people. And I think human resources was a natural career pursuit because that's what I'd always done. Yeah. And so I started in the for-profit arena, but nonprofit is my heart. It always has been through church, through ministry, through advocacy groups. And so now I am the Senior Director of Human Resources for the Smith Center for the Performing Arts. So I'm working nonprofit, HR, passion, culture, diversity, all the things that have always been core to who I am.
Yeah, and humongous. I'm super proud of you and all that you've accomplished and all of us. And I really am enjoying this. Oh, Mr. Schiavo says hi because I've done a couple of podcasts with him. So he sends his love.
Hello, Captainess.
Having conversations with him has really opened up, ignited a fire in me to like really tell these stories really of all us like little mighties that came from CI. And I love it because we lived through the test experiment of like critical race theory, where, like how they put all of the different races into CI and how they bucket, like where my parents' restaurant was all white.
Yes.
Right, CI was all mixed. Ronkonkoma was all white. East Islip was all white. So you just knew that certain areas was all white, but we didn't really understand that as a kid. I for one didn't understand that.
Right.
And as I speak to him, he told me he was in real estate and a real estate agent, and they told him, by no means should you bring any, different colored people into this area. And, my office will get burned down if you do that. So it's super impactful that he tells me these stories from his point of view.
Yes.
And, so I've enjoyed these podcasts because I wanted these to be a gallery of conversations, but I also wanted to help people. I want to help people where, how you got into your life and your career, and tips and tricks that you can, advice that you can give to somebody else, so we can help others who are listening to these podcasts. So now it's no longer just art. Now it's the art of living. How can you help others now? So now I want to give everybody a voice where, it's like all the voices of CI, all the people who were steered to CI, like what happened to those kids, right? Well, we are the testament to what happened to those kids, right? And I'm super proud of all of us.
Agreed. And I'm super proud of you. I have to say that what I appreciate about Central Islip is the ability to reinvent, right? So we've all been hit with just devastating things. I was saying to you, and let me grab a tissue so in case I cry. Today is actually the 5th year anniversary of my mother passing.
Oh no, yeah. My mom passed in 2013. So yeah, if I start talking about her, I'll probably start crying too. So we'll cry together.
Yeah, that's it, exactly, right? And so
Because-
when you asked me about today, I was like, I can't do today. I can't, I'll just be overwhelmed. But the testament to who we are is why I can do today.
Yeah.
What I was given, the close-knit family, the energy and the encouragement to keep going. In 1999, my brothers were also involved in a horrific car accident.
Really?
They were both in the hospital for 6 months. One of my brothers was in a coma. My youngest brother, Jared, was said that he would never be able to walk or function. And just a miracle. God did it. He's walking. And that happened to be on the same day, March 21st in 1999. So every March 21st, it's a lot. It's
Oh
a
my
lot.
God. Wow, this is a huge day. So I'm honored that
is.
you are with me today, and I'm here to support you.
I know, and I appreciate that. You are a friend that transitions years, and I'm just so proud of all of us. You couldn't look at us and see what we've gone through because we were taught to be strong. We were
Yes.
taught to use it and to build. And
Yes.
so I'm so proud of reinventing. That's one of the things I really try to encourage people about life now. Allow the pandemic and COVID to give you new perspective and reinvent. Bricks might have been thrown at you. You may have had devastation, but what can you turn that into to give someone else life,
Yes.
right? How can you show up authentically based on what you found out and restart? And I think that especially in this time in my life, it's okay for a second chance. It's okay to acknowledge the first one didn't go that great, but
Yeah.
I still have so much essence and power in me, and I'm going to go after what does work. I never intended to be divorced. I never intended to start again, but this second time around is incredible. And I'm proud of the fortitude for all of us who've gotten back up and said, this is the way I thought it was going to go. It didn't work, but I'm
Yeah.
not going to sit here and wallow in it. I'm
Yeah.
going to go after success and where I am. So I think human resources teaches, and I continue to try to remind individuals that you are forever marketing yourself. So look at every interaction like an interview. You never know how you'll engage with that person again, where they might play a role in your future, and
Yes.
what is the authentic self that you want to leave with them.
Yes, those are huge key points, because honestly, that's how I maneuver majority of my life. Is you never know who you're going to meet. So don't step on anybody, because, on your way up, you might be stepping on those people that on your way down, like they could be helping you on your way,
Yep.
all through those periods in your life. And that's a huge key point, is to let everybody know to treat everybody like, exactly like you said, like an interview where you should treat everybody with kindness. And because we all eventually need to lean on each other. So if you treat everybody with kindness, and you have to be able to lean on all your friends and everybody you've met, because that's how I've been able to get through the pandemic also.
Yep, strength in numbers. There's strength in numbers, and I think it's important. And I don't begrudge anything. When I'm doing trainings, I tell people, let's look at college, right? Let's look at a college class and how much it costs for each credit. And if you say each credit is usually $300 to $400, maybe a class costs anywhere between $1,000 and $1,200. Let's just round it $1,000.
Yeah.
And let's say every experience you've gained, we will make that equivalent of a college class.
Yeah.
So with all the lessons, the heartbreaks, the disappointments, let's call each of those their own individual class. And then I want you to calculate how much you would have spent on that education. How much is that education worth with all of those classes at $1,000 a pop for every experience you've gained? And most people end and tell me, oh, it's too much for me to calculate. The amount of zeros would never stop.
Yeah.
And my response to them is exactly.
Yeah.
So we need to be intentional about not allowing anyone to ruin what we had to go through to gain the education we have.
Yeah.
We have to hold it as so precious and so costly, because it is. What we've experienced, what we've been through, what we've made it through costs a lot. It costs time and emotions and energy and effort and time away from our family and time in pursuit of our dreams. And if you would look at that as an actual line item, as a monetary value, if you could, it is too precious for me to waste by not applying it, not appreciating it, and not protecting it.
Yeah.
And, that's really how I'm approaching life now. I have to protect what I spent so much time and energy in pursuit of, and I have to make it worth it.
Yeah. Do you think you are, for me, I definitely think so. After my mom had passed away, I think that fully put me into the present moment of my life, because I also had to reinvent myself, because my mom had passed away. We had our reunion, our 20-year reunion, right? Yeah. Then eventually, shortly after that, I got a divorce and had to figure out becoming a single mom. And then COVID happened. I got let go of my job. So basically, it's been a reinvention of LindaCheung.
Yes. And a successful one. Look at this, the art and the hustle. Yes. I would like to say that you birthed something, right?
I did. Thank you.
You birthed something, and birth is not always pretty. Sometimes it goes longer than we thought.
Yeah.
It changes your face. It changes your body. It gives you weird cravings. But what you birth is so beautiful that it removes all the memories of the difficulty. And so, I'd like to say you birthed something. You birthed something beautiful, and you're sharing it with the world. And I had to reinvent myself after my mom. I never prepared for her to not be here, because I never expected. And I think for those of us that are planners, the things that we don't plan, that's why COVID was so, it was like, well, just 2 weeks. Okay, then we'll come back. Wait, 2 weeks is 2 months. Wait, 2 months is 3 months. We can't go outside. We hadn't planned. And so my mom's passing, be that unplanned, rocked me. Yeah. Because I didn't have a plan on how to approach it. But one of the last things my mother told me is, Tricia, you're built for this. And so I hear her words, I remind myself. And what she basically was telling me is, I already put in you everything you need for what you haven't even experienced yet. And so now it's just a matter of going to those things and using those tools and embracing what I've already been taught, because I've been built for this. We've been built for this time, for this test, and for all of these emotions. We already have the tools that we need. It's just the application. So the test doesn't usually feel good, but the test shows you what's in you, what you studied for, what you've taken in. And so I'll be happy when we get a little break from the testing. but I am happy that we've been built for this.
Yeah, yeah. We definitely have been built for this. I mean, from my childhood, I'm sure from your childhood, we went through a lot of trials and tribulations. And this is why I'm really enjoying these podcasts, because I get to talk to all of my friends and colleagues and everyone, because basically I can talk to everybody that I've been, cross my path and hear about their stories that honestly, sometimes I had no idea some people had these difficult backgrounds or had certain interests, and can give me some advice of like, their difficulties in life and how they got through those things. So it's been a beautiful transition and reinventing with this.
It looks beautiful, and you're right, from the outside we wouldn't know, but kudos to bringing it together. And I think we've had a lot of stories of devastation, and I just appreciate, the stories of success. Even with 9/11, I tell people, if you're from New York, every one of us was affected by 9/11. Even living 3,000 miles away, 9/11 hits me. Nobody has to remind me of what the day is.
Yeah.
And so I find that's true of everything we've been through. Nobody has to remind you. The day itself presents itself and you remember.
Yeah.
But what makes us incredible is that we get up in the face of it and we still produce. We still show up.
Yes.
Today I said, I'm going to apply. I currently have 2 master's degrees, LindaLCheung islip, 2 master's degrees. Yes.
Love it.
We create scholars. And I've been interested in my doctorate. And I said today, on behalf of my mom, I'm going to do some more research about my doctorate studies.
Oh my God, that is amazing. That is amazing. What did you get your master's on?
So I have 1 master's in nonprofit management with a concentration on human resources. And my second master's is in leadership and training.
Amazing. I mean, these are 2 amazing things that completely speak to your core of how I've always known you. You've always had this leadership quality, but this also empathetic quality about you, this human level, which I think is so important. Mr. Schiavo always also mentioned, like, when he approaches students, he approaches all his students in a human level, and he always made them speak to each other by introducing and talking to each other by their last name. So he's given respect to all of us and made us feel like we are also important.
Yes, I was Miss Hicks for a long time, and I'll never forget, the challenge. He challenged us to speak up, but to show up, right? He was my English teacher, but he was also my African American lit teacher. And I'll never forget when I tell people that a Caucasian male taught my African American lit class.
Yeah.
And we were just so happy to have African American lit. And then when it was him, honestly, on like a devastation, like, what? How did this Caucasian man ask for African American lit?
Yeah, I mean, that's got to be a different view of it. Like, wait a minute, why are you teaching this, right? I mean, sure.
I think you're in the wrong room, right?
Yeah.
I think people were turned off from it, but he made a statement that he backed up, and he said, I've read and forgotten more books about African American literature than you ever will.
Yeah.
And I was offended and challenged, right? The same thing.
Yeah.
And so I'll never forget, Mr. Schiavo said that if you write and get any scholarship through any essay writing, you'll get an automatic A in my class and not have to take the final. And so I was like, well, that's going to be me.
Yeah.
And because of his inspiration, I applied for and won the Dr. Martin Luther King essay contest in my 12th grade year. I got my first scholarship for college, and I got an A in his class and didn't have to take the final. So,
oh my God, that's awesome!
Mr. Schiavo continues to inspire, and he was legit. He could deal with us, but he cared about us, and it made me approach college in a way, because I had come from a core of people that cared about us. That Miss Tarana, who cared about us, Miss Guanan, who cared about us, and to this day, who speak kindly to us. Elementary school teachers who still reach out and say, you're so proud. Miss Z was my second grade teacher.
Oh,
and
really?
She used to call me Sunshine.
Miss Z, like, is that already?
Yes, Mrs. Mazarin.
Oh, she's
Yup.
so sweet. It's so funny. I never had her, but she had my brother. So instantly, once like she knows, oh, you're, David Chung's, sister, then she instantly like gravitates towards me. She's like, okay, you like, so
Incredible. We
I
have a
love that.
network, a little town that took responsibility for each other.
So it really takes a village
It
because
does.
my home life was not good. So to have that family and camaraderie and teachers, that extended village of people who cared about me is like a miracle.
And I have to tell you, they must, what they say must be true, right? That fertilizer is made of the best amount of mess, because to
Mhm.
look at you and your success, you wouldn't have known it. So
Yeah,
kudos to you, friend,
yeah.
because you made it look easy and you're paving the way for so many. And I think it's great for us to be able to look at people and say, no, it wasn't all great. I thought I was the
Oh, not at
Cosby's.
all. Not at all. Because that's one thing I want to eventually write is my experience as a child and I'm gonna start crying too. Like let me
See,
get my tissues.
get some tissues. I'm like,
Oh,
oh my gosh, she's gonna
let
have
me get
to
my
edit all
tissues.
this.
Let me get my tissues if I start
Yes,
talking about it. But I do want to write my book because I want to tell my story. See, I'm gonna start crying.
it's okay. You deserve to. You deserve to. You deserve to. So proud of you. You deserve to.
I'm not gonna be able to stop.
You don't have to stop. It's such good things. It's so good.
I'm gonna be red. See,
But this is what this interview is about, right? This interview is about celebrating that we're champions, not that we didn't have tragedy,
yep,
but that we made champions of it.
yep. See, I'm getting hot.
Hey, I'm gonna buy your book. I think this is perfect. This is a commercial. This is a commercial for your
It's
book, and I'm
it
gonna buy your
totally
book.
it totally is because I mean that's the whole point where looking at me and looking at you, people would never know. So I feel like we do such a great job to hold that image up. And so I think that these stories need to be told so others who had like similar backgrounds or similar struggles would understand and be like, well, if she can do it and she looks like she's put together and she made it through life, she did all these things, then I can too.
That's right. Your life is gonna be the inspiration. It is the inspiration. That's what it is. Your life is the inspiration. The art of making that comeback be something beautiful and something that others can look at and be inspired by. And I have to say, I know your mom is so proud. I know that she knows the work, the effort, the encouragement. You are a great representation of CI. I proudly claim you as my CI peep, and I think it's incredible. I think the testament that we leave and that we are creating. I make my boys practice how to say CI appropriately. I'm like, say it, CI. So it's
Uh,
it's for the generations to come too.
that's a great thing that you've said. Like it's definitely all of that because I mean I definitely feel like your mom is there with you, and I also love the energy that comes across. Even like I tell people, like as I speak to people who I see their energy even through the Zoom or through photos, where I see a peace, I see an energy that's calmer and more happy and more content and joyful. So I'm happy that I can see that also with you.
It's true. It is, when you survive,
Hmm.
you owe it to yourself to thrive,
Hmm.
right? You asked me what I would say. When
Yeah.
you survive, you
Yeah.
owe it to yourself to thrive. You owe it to yourself to do it better, to go further,
Yep.
to experience more, to be appreciative more, to apply gratitude. And it's not about comparison or wanting to brag, but it really is about you have no idea what I survived. And because I survived it, I will not allow this next chance to go by the wayside. I won't allow anything to stop me. I survived so I could thrive. And so I think where some people may not appreciate, oh, she's this and she thinks that, or he's this and he thinks that, it just comes from a level of my mother made every sacrifice for me to be successful. And so the way to honor her is to be successful.
Yeah, and to
it
be joyful every day of your life, right?
That's right. To live and to smile and to make her efforts worth it.
Yeah, I totally agree. What do you think the secret to a happy life is?
A secret to a happy life, I would say, is to be authentic.
Mm,
I was not happy because I wasn't authentic. I wasn't
yes.
authentic before about what I needed, what
Yeah.
I wanted, and what I wasn't getting.
Yeah.
And so I think a happy life is authentic.
Yeah.
To be true to who you are,
Mm-hmm.
what you want and what you need, and to be unapologetic about pursuing it.
I love that. That is I love that we are speaking today and this is coming up, because exactly that is what we are all striving to be. And I feel like everyone should push through to be more authentically themselves, because that could possibly, because when you're not authentically yourself, you're a detriment to basically everybody around you also, because you're not speaking up to what you want and you
Right.
possibly are compromising too much of yourself.
That's right. Authentic is just, and I love that, you are a detriment, because if I'm not my whole true self,
Yeah.
I cannot be what I even, propose to be to you. How can I? I'm a portion of myself. So
Yep.
authenticity, I think, is huge.
Yeah. And even Will Smith, I think, said it in his book where he and Jada, they realized, like, listen, you need to be happy and complete.
Yes.
And I need to be happy and complete. I cannot make you happy.
Right.
You need to be happy on your own. And then we come together in our best versions of each other.
Right.
And then we can, enjoy our life together. Then there's a true partnership in that.
True partnership. Yes. Yes. Shout out to my husband, Jay. True partnership. Yes.
That is amazing. So what are the qualities that you found in him that you resonated with, and the secret to your joyful, grateful marriage that you have right now?
Great questions. So what are the qualities that I found in him that I needed? Well, first, he knew authentic me, right? He knew CI me,
Yeah.
17, 18.
So you didn't have to hide behind a certain persona or be a certain way.
He knew who I was, where I came from. And, it's interesting. I love to hear him talk about me, because he tells people who he meets now that have just met me in my adult life.
Yeah.
This is who she was in high school, right? So authentic me. I'm going to be president one day. I'm going to be president of school right now. I'm going to be a lawyer. I'm going to represent. And so he allows me to be free in who I am and supports
I love that. That's huge.
It is.
That's huge.
Just free in who I am, and we are transparent.
Here's my CI mug.
Oh, CI mug. I love it. See? I love that we're transparent. We don't hide things. He is also tender. We start every morning. He wakes me up. My alarm clock. He makes me a cup of tea every morning and says good morning. And in our vows, he said to me, when I put my feet on the floor, it's my desire to identify what I can do to keep a smile on your face.
Wow.
And so to have someone who is dedicated to keeping me smiling, that's what I found in him. I found in him the partnership with Fully. Not that we haven't made mistakes, not that we both don't have a past, but that we are both willing to use it to make this moment successful.
Yeah.
And of course it helps that he is so handsome. He has a dynamic voice and beautiful brown eyes, which I tell him all the time was what made me say yes in high school.
Yeah.
But he completes me. He is my support.
Wow.
Rest knowing that he's there, and he knows I love Central Islip. He knows I don't play about that. So, So I think that that secret sauce for success is to be willing to show up every day to work at it,
Yeah.
every day to reinvent, to be transparent,
Mm-hmm.
to say, I didn't do that right.
Yeah.
Last night we had a long talk about something I did wrong, but we laughed about it.
Yeah.
And we laughed about perceptions, and we laughed about what could have turned into something else, but I don't want to spend a day away from him. And I
Yeah.
keep that at the forefront of my mind,
Yeah.
even when he may upset me or aggravate me.
Yeah.
A day with him being there and upsetting me is better than any day of being without him.
Yeah.
And so my moves have to be in that directive. And I think when you evaluate, I always say to people about relationships, are you getting more than's being taken?
Mm-hmm.
And when you identify that balance,
Mm-hmm.
if you want it, fight for it. If
Yeah.
you want it, show up with that perspective of, I want it. And what I gain is more than what I feel like I lost or I had to contribute or wasn't there. I wouldn't say we're 80-20. I'm definitely at about 93-7. So I'm not leaving my 93.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. That's beautiful, beautiful advice to give to someone. What do you think the purpose of life is?
Purpose of life. I'm a Christian. God created us.
Mhm.
The purpose of life is to fulfill his purpose for us.
Mhm.
And it is not selfish, it's collective. I have a nonprofit that I'm hoping to really just get up off the ground this year, and it's coined hashtag compel not compete. I don't want to be in competition with anybody but myself. There's
Yeah.
enough crowns for all of us.
Mhm.
And I think our purpose is to compel people to go after it, to be okay with it, and to heal through it. So
Yeah.
compel, not compete. That's our purpose,
I
to
love it.
be great stewards of God's love and to be patient because we are all struggling.
Yeah. We're all going through something, right?
We all are. Yeah.
What advice would you give your younger self?
What advice would I give my younger self?
Mhm.
I love it. So the first thing I would tell my younger self is you don't have to be so uptight so young,
Mhm.
right? I worked a lot. I didn't always take time to smile and to celebrate and do all of that. I would also tell my younger self, get involved with 401k immediately,
Mhm.
right? Do better with
That's
your
great advice.
finances.
Yeah. You got to start as early as possible. That's definitely
Yes,
a tip for, the younger self and younger people. Start the 401k as soon as possible. So that way it grows and compounds, for a longer period of
exactly.
time.
And be smart about your credit and your financial
Yes.
stewardness, right?
Mhm.
Don't just look at today, prepare. A
Yeah.
good name and good credit will take you a long way.
Yeah.
And it takes an even longer time to get it back. So be prepared about it.
Mhm.
And then I would say, take a picture every day.
Mm.
Celebrate, say I love you every moment. Even the cheesy things. Be grateful for the phone calls that you can make. Because now, all these years later, I would give anything to be able to call my parents on the phone.
Yeah.
I'd give anything to hear my mom say I love you.
Yeah.
And I remember times of being so busy where we rushed up the phone. Okay, I love you, bye.
Yeah.
And we
I'm
hung
busy.
up.
I got to run. I got to go do something. Mm-hmm.
Take it in,
Yeah.
build the memories. Take time off from work to go to the parent-teacher conferences or to be a
Yeah.
chaperone. You
Yeah.
don't get that time back. So just take time to build the memories and appreciate them
Yeah.
because they really are what you have to hold on to.
Exactly. I mean, that's why I appreciate COVID happening, because I've always told in my other podcast where I think COVID was a godsend for me, because if that didn't happen and I wasn't let go of my job, I probably would have had a stroke, because my
Right.
health I was ignoring my health.
Yep.
My triglycerides were too high. I'm on this constant fight or flight basically since childhood, so for someone who's on a fight or flight and constantly being able to have to be, trying to be this perfect, child, and trying to be this perfect adult, and competing with all these things and trying to do like 5 different jobs, and then having kids and being a single mom. Like I literally probably had like 5 different jobs trying to make ends meet.
That's it.
So thank God that happened, because I was able to put it all aside,
Yep.
and take a year to really figure out what I needed to do, even though thank God I had like my connections through Facebook that I was able to sell masks. So thank God for, you know, all of my friends and family who,
Yes, I have mine.
yeah. Thank God for all my friends and family who purchased my mask. But that year was a year of like soulful resting to figure out who Linda is and what do I want to do with my life. Do I want to continue just working my 9 to 5, which is really not 9 to 5, because people, you know, people in New York, you leave at like probably 7 something in the morning and you don't get home until 7, 8 o'clock at night. And that's kind of early, because if you leave work early at 5, which is a normal time, you're like frowned upon for leaving at 5 o'clock, because they look at you like, what, why would you leave at 5? Like, you're not a hard worker if you leave at 5 o'clock. Or actually, it's not even 5, it's 5:30. That's like
5:30.
5:30, which is the normal time. But everyone looks down on you for leaving at 5:30 when you're torn between like, I want to get home and spend some time with my kids. I want to spend, you know, go home and spend time with my, you know, my husband, or, you know, my partner, whoever it is that you're with. And you don't have that because of the work-life balance. So thank God for COVID. It helped me to figure out my next steps.
I have a goal that I will never again end the year with any vacation or personal time left. Like, I can't, when I left my other job just before COVID, 6 weeks before COVID, I left to join the Smith Center after being with Paychex Corporation for 16 years. When I left, I had 4 weeks vacation.
Wow.
I had stopped accruing because I had so much vacation.
And then did you get paid for those time or no?
I did get paid out for that time. But, you know, Linda, I miss memories. I miss time that I could have been having vacation with my mom, when I could have been going to New York. And so, I got a check for it.
But it doesn't replace for that time that you could have said. But see, like, that's our fight or flight.
It is fight or
flight.
We
we had a similar sympathetic mode in your brain where you just like, no, I gotta succeed. Whatever I can do to succeed. I need to prove myself, prove my worth. And you missed moments because, like me, I realized, like, I was speaking to Gary O'Valley too, where we realized, like, we have, like, I can't remember a lot of things from my childhood, you know. So when you're in that fight or flight, you miss moments. You're numb to the world, right?
You just got to keep going and not think about it. So I want to take time. I'm going to take all my vacation days this year. Take
all your time, enjoy all the moments. And now I wake up every moment and I'm grateful that I wake up.
Yep, that's right. Just even that, because it's still out there. COVID is still real. People are still losing people. And I want to be able to rest, to know that I said everything I wanted to say and I shared everything I needed to share. So, it's incredible.
Exactly. What were your first 3 jobs growing up?
My first 3 jobs. Well, one was at Seatown. Very interesting. I definitely wasn't made for retail. I found that out the hard way. I didn't bag quick. I didn't bag quick at all.
No
at all. And I only got the job because I wanted to do something this summer, and my father and mother weren't spending money on that. So
you needed some money. Gotta go to the mall, right?
Job was at the beer house on Suffolk Avenue, which I shouldn't have been allowed to work at 16, because I was running the lotto machine.
Oh my God, that's awesome. See, these are the stories that people would never know, right?
At all. I was selling beer, and I was good at it. I was working there late nights, but my parents were just so proud. I was like, I probably shouldn't be here. And then after that, I got the job. My first significant job would be at Cablevision. I got it after high school. It was part of my college scholarship. And I worked there, and that's what gave me the exposure to the HR realm. And I worked with them for a long time until I went to my next place. So those 3 jobs were incredible. The beer house, I love it to this day. I thought it was so grown. I know how to do one box of straight with gelato. So I have that. And then
I have no idea about lotto. So that you have you learned something there, because I have no idea how to play lotto, how to pick numbers, how to do any of that. I'm like, what? I don't know how to do that. But I did work in service though.
There you go. Well, it's probably a precursor for Vegas, because now I live here and I understand all the slots and all. I'm like, I know what you're doing. So those are my first 3 jobs.
That's awesome. What is the best and worst advice you've gotten?
The best advice I've gotten was that if opportunity doesn't knock, build the door. And I believe in that. I believe that everyone may not always see you, but you should see you. You should be ready to support it. The worst advice I ever got was, it's okay, dot, dot, dot. Right? It wasn't always okay. It wasn't okay to always be disappointed. It wasn't always okay to be bitter. It wasn't okay. It was understandable, but it wasn't okay. And I need to hold myself accountable. People are going to be people. I may not be able to change other people, but I definitely have my responsibility. It wasn't okay to be unhappy. You know, I stayed in a marriage longer than I probably should have, when we both could have gotten some peace early, but I thought it was okay because I was trying to be the good mom. And I thought it was okay because I was trying to keep a good reputation. And I thought it was okay because my parents had stayed married. I know they weren't, you know, everything wasn't perfect, but they did it, so it was okay. And it wasn't okay. And I think sometimes it's okay to not be okay. That's the best advice.
And that's a hard thing, I guess, for us also, because if we are constantly trying to keep things together and push through life, it's hard to step out of that, because you're like, no, I have goals to meet. I have checklists to get through.
Yes.
You know, like when I realized like where I kind of felt like I was trying to get through all my checklists. And I always thought that as I would go to college, I would be happy. I would get my first job, I would be happy. I would get married, have kids, and get my job and the house, then I would be happy. But then you realize this is not okay.
It's not okay. And it's okay to not be okay.
Yeah, and that's a hard thing to like really get to a place where you're like, oh my God, I'm not okay. I have to basically take everything apart.
Start again, reinvent.
Dismantle everything.
Yeah, but it's okay. It's okay. Not having great days. It's okay that my hair wasn't together today. It's not okay to stay there, but it's okay that it happened. So
I think what people need to understand also is you have to move through it in that, you know, difficult, hard times. You just got to push through it and feel through it. Because I feel like a lot of people will cover up those like feelings of, you know, I feel sad, so I'm going to cover it up with alcohol. I'm lonely, so I'm going to cover up with like sex, or I'm just going to cover up and with all those things. But you have to, honestly, what I learned is to move through it and not cover it up. Because that's unfortunately one of the things I learned as a kid, is to ignore my feelings, ignore it, just keep going and do this and do that and just ignore your feelings of things. So I realized, you know, one advice I would give people is to sit through it. Sit through it.
Let it marinate.
Let it marinate. Help. You're sad, say it. You're sad and you feel it, and then you move on. But acknowledging those feelings, I feel like one of the podcasts, inspirational people, they're like, just say it, feel it, and just don't sit there for too long. As long as you acknowledge it, you can move through it.
It's okay to acknowledge it. It's okay to own it. But it's also okay to fix it.
Who were some of your mentors and your favorite teachers that helped guided you to how you are?
Definitely Mrs. Seattle. We gave him a shout out. Miss Sarana was wonderful. Miss Starwanen was incredible. I had a professor in college. He was my college readiness class. And he actually went on vacation and let me teach the class for a week.
Wow.
It was amazing, and paid me. I don't know if he was supposed to.
Oh, and he paid you. That's even better.
So it was cool to have that leadership responsibility. The dean of my college, Dean Harriet, was incredible to me, a mentor. I'll give the shout out. I mean, I don't have too many bad things to say about CI. They showed up for me.
Did you come across any racism in CI or in the neighborhoods of it?
I would say once I had a engagement with a teacher in history, and I already did not enjoy history. And I realize now it was from the perspective that I received it, right? Because I love Hamilton. And I'm like, if history had been like this, I would have done so good. And I think that teacher was someone who probably shouldn't have been with our demographic of students. they had gotten the job because of experience, education, but the experience wasn't there, the applicableness of it.
Yeah.
And I did feel that there was a racist undertones.
Yeah.
I don't think there was a lot of place for that in Central Islip.
Mhm.
But I will say that throughout my entire life, I've gotten oh, you don't sound like you look, you don't sound like a Black girl.
Really?
Yes, to the nod of, I guess I speak to proper word that I didn't have enough,
Sounds so
whatever.
intelligent. Why are you like this? Well, like, yeah, like that would be like people who ask me like, why do you speak such good English? Like,
Right.
why? Where are you from?
Exactly. Who did this to you? Yeah.
I'm from New York.
I'm from New York. And I say water correctly. Yes, absolutely. I think that those little undertones, which is why I'm definitely happy that HR career is now expanding to diversity and inclusion.
Yeah.
I tell people, trying to cry again. So my youngest son is autistic, Marcellus. He'll be 13 in April. He's a big boy. He's 5'7", 160 pounds at 12.
Wow. Okay.
He is. He's going to be a big boy.
Yeah.
And but he's autistic, and he's a Black male.
Yeah.
And one of the most fearful things to me is him to have an interaction with a cop.
Yeah.
And he's
and not realizing.
delayed.
They're not realizing. Yeah.
And he's a big boy, so he'll be big in stature.
Yeah.
And I could see him being feared, but that's my baby, and he doesn't currently, because I believe that he will, he doesn't currently communicate on a level that is contingent with his age.
Yeah.
And to know the state of the world that we are at certain times, that could be a detriment and could be a threat to people, scares me. And so I wish that sometimes we could be back in that bubble where I didn't really know racism. There was so many of us. Yeah, people said some slick things, but to me it was more, you're trying it, it's what you went for. I didn't feel a lot of it growing up, but I see a lot more of it in the professional world. And as I've climbed the ladder and have had success, I see it a lot.
Yeah.
I see it a lot.
Were your parents the ones who pushed you to be so successful in your academics and schooling?
They were. My mom and dad were good. They said, you don't have to work, just get good grades and claim your own. And I took that to heart. They didn't have money for me to go to college. And so I want to encourage anybody who's listening, whose parents don't, it's okay. I went after scholarships, and that's how I went to college. But they gave me the love and the support. They were strict. I laugh all the time. After prom, I had a curfew. Everybody else went out. I had to go back home. Even in college, I was staying at home in college the first 3 years, and I was president of the school with the curfew. So they had to make all the meetings earlier in the day so I could stay home for curfew. So they were strict.
Wait, even in college, you were still strict?
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Wow.
I think I had a midnight curfew in college. I was like, well, I'm kind of almost 21. Can we make it later? No? Okay. All right. It was their house. So, but they always supported me. They were there for everything. And they instilled in me how important it would be and what I could build upon. And I didn't have pressure, right? I didn't have to have a lot of chores around the house. I didn't have to cook my own dinner. I didn't have to pay bills, although I did contribute when I got jobs. I didn't have to work. I just needed to do good in school and clean my room.
And you're the oldest, right?
I'm the oldest and the only girl.
Only girl, wow. And also, did they always live in CI or they lived somewhere else before?
Always Central Islip. We were in the Hawthorne Apartments before my youngest brother came. Then we needed more space and we moved to Tamarack Street. And even grateful for my dad. He was retired. He had a heart attack when I was 2. They didn't expect him to live. He had 3 quadrants, a triple bypass. And my mom thought that she was going to be a single parent. My parents had 16 years difference in age. So that was a difference in part, right? I had an older man, younger mother. But even him and his retired status, because he had gotten hurt, put away money. And now that house is owned by me and my brothers. And so they left us legacy. And
thank God they did that. Yeah. What were their career? What did they do?
They were both psychiatric nurses at Northport, both of them at Northport.
Wow.
So it was interesting. Also, when I come home and complain about stuff, they're like, sounds like they have an issue, but it's okay. My mother always told me.
Listen, if I'm working in the psychiatric
Yeah, they were like, I'm sure you had nothing compared to what I experienced today. And so, and I
Yeah.
had another, I think that's so important. I had the reversed roles, if you would. My father stayed home. He was home when we got home from school because he was retired. My
Yeah.
mom was the breadwinner, if you would.
Yeah.
My dad made dinner, he did the laundry. But I got a chance to understand that marriage was partnership and you show up however you need to, however you can, not in specified roles.
Yeah.
And so I appreciated that throughout my life. I looked for a partner, not a
Yeah.
position.
Yeah. So I definitely think that helped you be so strong because you saw your mother having to step up and now be the breadwinner to support the family.
Yep. And she did a great job. She did a great job.
Yeah. Well, I mean, your parents did a great job because look at you. Look at the type of person you are.
Oh,
And you are amazing, magnificent, caring,
thank you,
strong,
friend.
and you are just going to be the president. I'm going to vote for you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'll invite you to the campaign party. Thank you. Thank you.
If you need, I can design you some logos, whatever you need, flyers for your campaign.
Listen, you did a wonderful job for my 40th. I still have them. And my next big party is you. So yes, absolutely.
Oh, yes, I did do that, right? That's
You
so
did do
funny. I
that.
love it. I love it. So are you working on anything exciting right now?
Yes, during the pandemic, my youngest son, I started a company for him. It's called Burnt Popcorn.
Ooh,
And he made popcorn for the first time during COVID, and he
yeah,
burned it so bad. It was
yeah.
so bad.
Mhm.
And the house was stinking, and I was devastated. And I really just felt like God in that moment said to me, Tricia, you're missing it. The
Yeah.
success and the fact that he made the popcorn,
Mhm.
not how it came out,
Yeah,
but that he tried, that he went after the effort.
yeah.
And so we created the company for him called Burnt Popcorn.
Mhm.
And one of our initiatives right now is to start a bowling league for special needs children
Yeah,
to help them get acclimated, help with socialization. And
yeah.
ultimately, my dream is to have an independent living household for adult children on the spectrum that can
Yeah.
have independence, but don't have to feel as though they're burdensome to the rest of their community and village. So I'm really just focusing on that. As I said, looking to find out where I'll be going for the doctorate. I'm still a newlywed. It's been 90, what today is the 21st and 71, so 92 days today. And just enjoying the first year and taking all the experiences in. And really just want to be focused on a community advocate that can be dependent on
Yeah.
and that shows up. So
That sounds like a great idea, and I think that's super amazing. If you need any help, I'm always here for you. And I'm super honored that you took the time today for us to do this on the 21st. So
I'm honored that you
Wow.
asked. So proud of you.
I'm so proud
And
of
hope
you.
So
Thank you
thank you
so much, and for joining me. And it was a pleasure. And have a great day. And
So I'll be on supporting all of them. Thank you for this and this time, and I look forward to seeing all that's going to be. I believe in you, and I'm going to be there.
thank you. Have a
Thank
great
you
day.
so much.